We are finally in Chapter 7, Hypnosis of the Manipulated Mind by Denise Wynn. This is the first video in that series. Perhaps because it is not clearly understood how or why a state of consciousness known as hypnosis should exist, the concept tends to arouse strong reactions, ranging from fear and curiosity to disbelief in very many people. What exactly is hypnosis? Can it be induced without one's knowledge? Can it force one to act against one's will? Is it a high-powered mind-manipulating technique? And if it exists as a state of consciousness, why can't everyone be hypnotized? Or can they? Certainly the power potential of the hypnotizer encouraged the CIA to spend some years investigating hypnosis as a mean for programming assassins or for sending top-secret messages that would be forgotten the instant after delivery. The accounts of their activities featured in various books, such as The Mind Manipulators by Shefflin and Opton, Operation Mind Control by Walter Bowart, and The Search for the Manchurian Candidate by John Marks, all seem to indicate that they didn't get very far. However, many psychological researchers have spent years studying the hypnotic state and have come up with various conflicting theories as to why it works and whom it works with. Ernest Hilgard and colleagues at Stanford University some years ago developed a hypnotic susceptibility scale which set certain criteria for assessing people's responses under hypnosis to commands such as, "You cannot separate your hands," or "You cannot say your name." He concluded that between 5 and 10% of the population is highly susceptible to hypnosis, and the same number are completely resistant against it, with the rest of the population falling somewhere in between. Thus, according to Hilgard's findings, most people can be hypnotized, but some more easily than others. This conclusion has been broadly accepted for many years, but recently another American psychologist has started to question it. Professor Joe Barber of the University of California in Los Angeles Medical School now claims that everyone is susceptible to hypnosis and that people who appear to be resistant are not resistant to hypnosis itself, but to the way it is traditionally induced. Some individuals, he claims, are simply hostile to the monotonous, lugubrious, deliberately slow tones adopted by hypnotists to induce trance, and also react defensively against direct commands such as, "You will feel sleepy," or "Your eyes will close." Whereas, according to Barber, if the hypnotist adopts a conversational, non-authoritarian approach, suggesting in a normal voice gentle ideas such as, "I wonder if you would find it surprising that your eyes can start to feel heavy so quickly," and there can be a 100% success rate. Professor Barber has tried this method himself with numerous subjects. In one experiment, he attempted to hypnotize 27 people and then subjected them all to extremely painful electrical stimulation of the nerve fibers in the teeth. Not one of the 27 felt the slightest pain. Accordingly, Professor Barber believes that hypnosis correctly induced has an as yet not fully tapped contribution to making the field of pain control. Because of a misconception as to what the state of hypnosis is, many people presume they are not being successfully hypnotized because they are not asleep. In fact, hypnosis is a conscious state, identified physiologically as producing the same brainwave pattern as that which occurs when people are in a relaxed state, alpha rhythms. Beta rhythms are associated with normal waking activity. Theta rhythms appear when a person is slipping from wakefulness into sleep, and delta rhythms occur during deep sleep. The trance, as it is commonly called, is not a single specific definable state, but more accurately covers anything from relatively light to very deep relaxation. Professor Barber, for instance, has said that anyone who is absorbed in what someone else is saying is in a light state of trance. The state of hypnosis is commonly defined as a state of heightened suggestibility, thus providing the stage hypnotist with the opportunity to suggest to a subject that he carry out certain acts designed to amuse the rest of the audience, or the hypnotherapist with the chance to instill confidence in a patient, or because defenses are down, to draw out the buried details of a troubled past. But certain researchers believe that a state of suggestibility is just a normal waking condition, more notable in some people than others, and that there is no need to designate it as a special state called hypnosis. A vocal supporter of this view is Dr. Theodore Barber, an expert hypnotist and respected hypnosis researcher of over 20 years, and now directing special projects at the Cushing Hospital in Framingham, Massachusetts. The main thrust of Barber's argument is that the kind of people who can perform the most interesting mental feats under hypnosis can in fact perform them without the aid of any induced hypnosis at all. On the basis of his research, he claims that between 3 to 4% of the female population at least can hallucinate at will. We can hallucinate at will? Ooh. Touch apparitions and have out-of-body experiences, and that most of such women are leading normal active lives, unaware that their powers are anything special. Such abilities are found, says Barber, not in accordance with certain levels of education or types of personality or emotional stability, but in women who share one basic trait, a tendency to have fantasized from an early age and to continue an intense fantasy life as adults. Barber made this discovery almost by accident. He had set out to research what characteristics, if any, so-called somnambules had in common. Somnambules, that's it, right? Had in common. Somnambule is the name given to people who are so susceptible to hypnosis that they can be induced to experience specific sensations such as heat or cold, to smell or taste, to order, to suffer amnesia for any event, or to regress to past lives, and reliably to carry out post-hypnotic suggestions. Barber gave hypnotizability tests to over 900 people and found 19 women aged from 21 to 47 who were clearly somnambules. Since he reported his research, Barber has carried out even wider testing and now has over 30 somnambules, some of them men. When Barber later interviewed and tested his 19 highly hypnotizable women in depth, he made the discovery that they were so easy to hypnotize purely because they could also hypnotize themselves. They didn't need a hypnotist. There was nothing they could be made to do under hypnosis that they couldn't do of their own free will, he said. And I'll stop it right there. This was video number 1 in chapter 7 of the Manipulated Mind, and I will see you in video number 2.